And my philosophy is the more work you put in, you know, the more reward you get. If you've clicked this video, then you know that we are doing a reaction to a video of the one and only Jim Carrey.
Alrighty then.
This guy has been one of my influences for comedy, and absolutely love the movies that this guy has been in and basically what he stood for that I know of. But there's a hidden side of him apparently, and I would like to check what this hidden side of Jim Carrey's life is all about. So let's check it out. I'm going into this expecting maybe it to be negative with it being called the hidden side of Jim Carrey's life, but I'd like to know what people think of this after the reaction. So let's see what the hidden side of Jim's life is.
I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him.
Right.
And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant.
Right.
And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
This is like an inspirational quote, isn't it? Like, well, not just a quote, an actual monologue. This is, you know, he's saying that his dad had no confidence in it. So you can fail at what you don't want, you may as well try it. You know what I mean? If you're gonna, if you try and fail, at least you know where you stand. Basically, is what he's saying. Right? Okay.
What you don't want. So you might as well take a chance.
Yeah, you might as well.
What you love.
Yeah, defo.
Mike Tyson's is like Roderick Crawford in Born Yesterday.
What do you think of it? What do you think of it? What do you think of it? No place you can run, no place you can hide, even make arrangements. Shut up! Punch like you, the diamond does, and I won't want to punch you.
Classic Jim Carrey.
This happy man you see here was not just the happy man we all know. He was not just the person we remember as a comedian, because deep in his soul, he always hid something.
I had a job, at least in my own mind, and that was to make my mother feel better. She was very ill in many ways, and so it was to make her feel better. I felt some need to make them feel that their life was worthwhile, that they did something special just by the very fact that they brought me into the world.
Yeah. Right.
So from a very young age, I wanted to convince them that I was a miracle.
And as cruel as it sounds, his mother's health problems
Look at that. Sorry.
To convince them that I was a miracle.
And as cruel as it
He's always pulling faces, even at a young age. I feel like this is going to be the sad side of it now, because obviously I think his comedy is stemming from trying to make his mum feel better while she was ill, as well as himself, Jim Carrey, wanting his parents to be so proud of him that they want to make him feel like he was a miracle, which is what he said. Right, okay, that's both wholesome and sad at the same time. Right, okay.
sounds, his mother's health problems were the reason he became the famous person we all know.
Right. Oh, that's sad.
Jim Carrey has had thousands of famous movies which made him known all over the world. Movies like The Mask and The Truman Show have made Jim Carrey is considered by many as the best comedy actor of all time.
I'll go with that.
Really well.
We really do. You know, we're like brother and sister now.
Yeah, that's great. He's fantastic.
But the reason he got there might be a little sadder than we thought. Because most of the time mothers are the fuel for celebrities to get there. Jim's mother was no exception. James Eugene Carrey was born on January 17, 1962, in the town of Newmarket, located in the province of Ontario in Canada. Unfortunately, his mother Kathleen Oram was a hypochondriac woman, which is why at the age of 8 Jim would learn to modulate his voice and make comical facial expressions in front of a mirror. His father was an accountant who later was fired, making his family's life change drastically. Jim's whole family had to get a job at a tire factory during the night, where the factory owners gave them food and lodging. All this was very complicated for little Jim, who, because of having few hours of sleep during the night, began to lower his grades in school. So sometime later he decided to drop out of school.
Because obviously your concentration's down if you're not getting no sleep. Wow. So this is a guy who's come from absolute humble beginnings, working in the tire factory, the whole family working in the tire factory, just to have a roof over their heads and have food provided for them. Wow, this is not a this guy was blessed into this life. This is a guy who's has had it hard, right? Okay, I know nothing about his early life. I just know about his film career and stuff.
Unfortunately, things did not improve, and Jim's mother became very sick, so they had to quit their job, and later they had to move to another city.
When I was 15, I was 15 years old, and I was looking for a way into the business, and my dad was out of work, and he was a great character, so we decided we wanted to be radio personalities or television personalities of some kind.
Right.
Yeah. So we heard about this place called the National Institute of Broadcasting, and we came down to do the kind of initiation, commencement, whatever it is, where they really scrutinize you, and they hear your voice, and they see you, and they interview you, and they decide whether you're eligible to pay them $800.
I'd like to report on the political situation down here in Canada.
His father was the one who convinced him to perform on some stages in order to gain some recognition and some money, and although he did not do well in his first participations, he improved with time.
I mean, you've got to start somewhere, haven't you? You have got to start somewhere. I mean, not everybody who was trying to take up a comedic life hit the ground running saying, like, oh, you're such a good comedian when you first start, same as you're not a great musician when you first start, or any other sort of career. You have to learn your craft. You have to hone that, and you have to, practice. It's the same with everything. The more work my philosophy is the more work you put in, the more reward you get. That's the way I look at it anyway.
Money, and although he did not do well in his first participations, he improved with time.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Feeling a little strange tonight, and I'm not sure why. No, I'm kidding you. That's just a little bit of a physical gag to get the show started off with a bang, and you won't be seeing much more physical humor in my show.
That's like impact comedy, isn't it? You know what I mean? People seeing people fall down, but the way he fell down, like stiff as a board, it was that. Yeah, okay. I see where he was going with his stand. I'm not seeing a lot of his stand-up, you see.
Read about this or hear this, that you used to go up on Mulholland Drive and park
every night
and visualize seeing yourself as...
Yeah, I would visualize...
This is when you were broke and poor.
Right, having directors interested in me and people that I respected saying, I like your work or whatever that is. And I would visualize things coming to me that I wanted or whatever.
This was in like 1987, 85?
Yeah.
So didn't you write yourself a check? I heard that you did. Is that true?
I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995. And I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. But then just before...
So he set himself a goal by writing a check to himself for 5 years' time that he would be able to cash if he made it. That's a bit similar to what Mr. Beast has done with the video. He's got a video coming out, and I think it's in a couple of years, that he made when he was just starting out on YouTube. And it was like, I think it's a life goals one. Oh, how many subscribers he's going to get at that time. But he set it to private from 10 years for 10 years in the future. And I think there's about 2 years left to run on it. You know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I think it's a similar sort of message here, or a similar sort of thing that Jim Carrey did with the check. Right? I wonder if Mr. Beast took inspiration from Jim Carrey on that. You know what I mean?
The wallet, and
Maybe.
I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. But then just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on
Wow.
Dumb and Dumber. Maybe.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah. So you visualize yourself like...
After years and years of work, after thousands of performances in a few movies, Jim Carrey was in one of his best moments, but bad news would come into his life on September 13th, 1994.
Wow.
His father had died.
I look at my father, who is a real interesting character. I think, even if I lose the physicality, I'm going to be a great character when I get old, Like, my father is the happiest man on the face of the earth. He laughs after everything you say. And he's deaf in one ear, so he dips and laughs.
My father...
How can you not laugh at that, even though it's so tragic? I mean, Jim Carrey's got funny bones, and hearing this about his dad now, obviously his dad had funny bones as well, so it's just gone through the gene pool, hasn't it? So, he was always going to be that funny guy. Right, okay. I just think he's took it to another level, hasn't he?
He laughs after everything you say. And he's deaf in one ear, so he dips and laughs.
My father was not only the funniest man in the room, but he was a fantastic saxophone player. And before I was born, he had an orchestra in Toronto
But, you know, in order to be something special, you had to leave Canada and come down to the States and prove yourself in the States. He was a little bit afraid of that transition, and also he had a family to take care of, so he became an accountant. As time wore on, got a little bit bitter, especially when he lost his job when he was 51. That really broke him. Not only was he compromising to raise a family, but when you compromise and you fail, it really hurts. It hurts even more than failing at what you love.
Despite the sad...
Yeah, I get that. Because now people have that mentality when they're the main provider for the household and then they can't provide, they feel like a failure. And that's what hurts them deep inside more than anything. Right, okay.
Compromising to raise a family, but when you compromise and you fail
as well,
it really hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts even more than failing at what you love.
Despite the sad death of his father, Jim Carrey never let himself fall. He always kept his head up and tried to go on with his life despite always having that pain in his heart. Many actors and celebrities tend to hide their pain and sadness in drugs or alcohol, but Jim Carrey was always different.
It feels like a low level of despair you live in, where you're not getting any answers, but you're living okay, and you can smile at the office, you know? But it's a low level of despair.
Put your face
And
up.
you don't take any of them, or you don't take anything now?
Nothing. I don't take anything. I rarely drink coffee. I'm very serious about no alcohol, no drugs. Life is too beautiful.
Interestingly,
that is a nice way to look at it, you know what I mean? I've said this before, every day of your life is a blessing. It's not an entitlement. And what you choose to do with your life will obviously either make it better or have ramifications later. And if Jim Carrey decides to have his persona, his work face, and go in and do his job and go home and then deal with that, that's just the way he copes with it. But like I say, going home and if he went home and there was nobody there, I think that's when you can become emotionally damaged, because you sit there alone with your own thoughts. And when you sit there alone with your own thoughts, they can go out of control, can't they? It's better to have somebody sat there, someone to bounce or someone to talk to, someone to reassure, someone to, share time with, I think, to get yourself out of certain mindsets sometimes. But interesting that he's no alcohol, no drugs, okay.
And you don't take anything now?
Nothing. I don't take anything. I rarely drink coffee. I'm very serious about no alcohol, no drugs. Life is too beautiful.
Interestingly, months before his father passed away, Jim acted in the famous movie of The Mask, so his father got to see him succeed, got to see his son become someone important in show business, which is what Jim Carrey always wanted to do.
Yeah, my dad passed away, but just before he passed away, he saw me, get to my goal. I was doing The Mask, and he saw it all happen, so it was very cool. Very cool, because it really was his dream, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's an important thing, one of your last memories, and for Jim to take that on board, that one of his last memories of his dad was to see him actually succeed after saying he's going to put all this work in, saying he was going to do this, saying he's going to write a check to himself. I mean, I know Dumb and Dumber hadn't happened yet because The Mask was before Dumb and Dumber, but you know what I mean? To see him achieve a level of success where he's in Hollywood movies, that would have made his dad happy, and obviously make him proud, and obviously make Jim Carrey, feel good about himself that his dad actually got to see him do that, even though it's like, say, it's bittersweet, because obviously he died not long after. Right, okay.
Very cool, because it really was his dream, too.
Jim Carrey's prime.
Billy Madison, Tim Allen, the Santa Claus, Tom Arnold, True Lies, Jim Carrey, The Mask.
Oh, is this Oscars?
Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber. That's a lovely accent you have.
These awards.
Who is it? Oh, it's that damn Jim Carrey.
Wow.
Dumb and Dumber.
Look, that's Robert Downey Jr., isn't it? He is young there, isn't he?
Who is it? Oh, it's that damn Jim Carrey for Dumb and Dumber.
Wow.
Oh, come on, you guys were paid.
Just naturally funny.
This is very, very cool. Very cool to be nominated twice in the same category, to win for Dumb and Dumber. But I refuse to believe that I am a better actor than myself.
In 1995, Jim...
That's facts, because he got two films in the same nominations. What a way to answer.
Better actor than myself.
In 1995, Jim Carrey was in his prime. He had fame, money, and many
that's at
luxuries.
Roxbury.
Plus, he was starting to win his first awards in front of celebrities of the time such as Adam Sandler. His movie Dumb and Dumber was breaking box office at the time, and his salary was absolutely
That's actually
insane.
Cable Guy.
In fact,
Oh, no,
it
it's
was
Dumb
one
and
of the
Dumber.
highest salaries for an actor. All of which meant that Jim Carrey no longer had to worry about money as he suffered for it when he was just...
I thought for a second it was the Cable Guy when he'd gone round to the other parents, the Matthew Broderick's parents' house to play the game, and then I realised, no, he had a blue shirt on in that one, didn't he? That he had a Christmas. That was the Christmas, the scene from Dumb and Dumber. I got mixed up.
Time, and his salary was absolutely insane. In fact, it was one of the highest salaries for an actor.
Yeah.
All of which meant that Jim Carrey no longer had to worry about money as he suffered for it when he was just a child.
Yeah.
For years, Jim Carrey was at the top of the world, acting in movies like The Truman Show, Batman Forever, and even the most recent Sonic movies.
I'm retiring.
The best Riddler that ever was. Fantastic Riddler. That Batman Forever was pulled out of the by the Riddler performance. You know, Val Kilmer was a decent Batman, but he was no Michael Keaton, let's face it. But I mean, yeah, I think Jim Carrey carried Batman Forever.
Movies like The Truman Show, Batman Forever, and even the most recent Sonic movies.
Dr. Robotnik.
I'm retiring, but yeah, probably.
Are you being serious or are you screwing with me?
I'm being fairly serious, yeah. I have enough. I've done enough. I am enough.
I have enough, I've done enough, I am enough. Which means he's not being greedy, is he? He knows now he can live out the rest of his life very, very comfortable because of what he's achieved and what he's earned through that. You know what I mean? Maybe he's just got nothing else to gain by doing films. I mean, I know he keeps doing the Sonic movies here and there, but I mean that's the character he's playing now, isn't it? So if they do Sonic 3 and they put like Dr. Robotnik in his way, he's gonna have to come back. He's gonna have to come back and do it again. But I mean, yeah, I'm glad he's obviously, because I've seen a couple of shorts here and there where he's talking about depressed and stuff, and I've shared them on me shorts myself because I think a lot of it can be inspirational, and I like sharing inspirational things and funny things as well as doing my own stuff. You know what I mean? So if something resonates with me, I'll share it. And I think a lot of what Jim Carrey says, motivational side, is very, very right, and it makes you think. Like, you know, it can actually alter your mindset and bring you out of a way of thinking when you listen to motivational speakers like that. So yeah, I like this documentary. I think it's a YouTube documentary that someone's made, isn't it? But it's been very well put together, and it's given me quite an insight into what Jim Carrey's life has been like and is like and was like. You know what I mean? It's yeah. I didn't know he started from that humble beginnings where, like I say, the tyre factory and stuff. It was like, yeah, that was a real eye-opener. Right, okay. Did you like this video? Should we do some more celebrities' hidden sides or whatever? Let me know in the comments, and if you like the videos, then please hit like and subscribe, and I shall see you all in the next video.